Okay, so we're going to do question 81 and 82 together because 83 onwards takes us into budgeting, some budgeting theory. So let's look at this quickly. So this is really the outworking or the application of when I say together, I'll do 81 first and then 82 next. The outworking of absorption costing. And let's focus carefully here. I kind of discussed this earlier on. You're just really working through with this. The thing with absorption costing is we're absorbing these fixed costs, this fixed production costs into the actual product, so into our inventory, really, as we should as far as the standard is concerned, IAS2. The stock must include that fixed production cost. Anyway, so let's look at it carefully. The variable cost, I'm absorption costing, not marginal. Variable cost is 11. And it tells me that it's £900 a month. That's fine, but they tell me that this is absorbed on a predetermined absorption rate of £5 a unit. So really, the full cost of each unit is £16. So I just want to do this from a logical, so you can see what's going on. So each unit of inventory is worth £16. What are we saying here? They want us to tell us what the net profit was for period 2 and 3. So let's look at period. What happened then? In period 1, you made 180, you sold 150, so you have 30 units left that become opening inventory in period 2, right? Because you have 30 units that didn't sell, so that's your closing inventory. So your closing inventory of period 1 becomes opening inventory in period 2. So you have 30 units opening inventory in period 2. You produce another 180. And because you sold 170, because 170 left your stock room, it means you must have, I'll use a different pen color, you must have had closing inventory of 40, right? So my cost of sale, if you like, is 170. That's it. So in terms of looking at profit, I'm selling each of these units for £20. So in effect, I'm really selling 20 times 170 minus 16 times 170. You could do it however you like. You could multiply all of this by 16 times 16 times 16 and find that you're still arriving at 170 units times 16. Ultimately, that's what we're doing. So this is in effect 4 times 170, right? So 4 times 170 takes us to 680. That's our gross profit. And we're told that we have fixed non-production costs. Now, these are period costs. Remember, production costs are period costs. And when we take that away, we get 480. And that takes me to C straight away. Now, in period 3, I will have opening inventory of 40. So, in effect, again, what you have here is if you have opening inventory of 40, you make 190. And that means if you sold 190, it means again you have closing inventory of 40. So your cost of sales in effect is 190. You do exactly the same thing. You'll arrive at 610. So you can practice that. But the key point is that with absorption costing, we are absorbing this full thing of £5 into the product with 11. We wouldn't do that with marginal costing. We would treat this, if you like, as the full 900 as a period cost in the month. Okay, great. So the answer there is C. Question 82 is just long-winded. So I'm going to, please look at the question. I'm going to go to a blank page. It's not difficult. It's just winded. That's all. Okay, great. So let's look at the scenario here with question 82. So with question 82, what are we saying? We're saying that we make two types of bulbs. We have standards and we have spotlights. Okay, great. So we know what the variable costs are. They tell us £2 and 4. That's £3. Then it tells us that the budgeted annual production is 12,000 and here 6,000. And overheads are 2,000 a month. So if 2,000 a month, so annually therefore overheads are 24,000. Then they tell us that actually the overhead absorption rate for spotlight bulbs is £1.50. So therefore, the total overhead for spotlights are 9,000. So if that's for spotlight, 9,000, and that's for that's the total, it means that the overheads for standard bulbs are 15, because 15 plus 9 gives us 24,000. So I can now find, if you like, the unit overhead cost, if you like, for standards, which would be 15,000 divided by 12. Well, ultimately, that's what I'm sort of doing here. What is this version here? What is this? So 15,000, 15 divided by 12 is £1.25. So now I can kind of answer the question. Then the question says that, oh, by the way, you sold you made 1,100 standard bulbs, and you made 600 standard bulbs. There was no inventory at the beginning, at the start of the month, but you had 200 standard bulbs at the end of the month. So it means, because the question is asking about what's the cost of sale, how many bulbs left your building? Well, if you produced 1,100 and you have 200 at the end of the month left, it means that 900 bulbs left your building. That's the cost of the sale, cost of the sale of bulbs that actually left your building. And it says you don't have any of the spotlight bulbs, so 600 left your building. So in terms of now costing them, well, the full cost of my standard bulbs is £2 and its accompanying overhead, which is £3.25, and the full cost of my spotlight bulbs will be the 600 times its £3 and its accompanying overhead, which is £4.50. So 900 times £3.25, 900 times £3.25, 900 times £3.25 is 2,925. 600 times £4 is 2,700. Add the two together, and the answer is 5625, which takes us to D. Right, to D. So that's question 81 and 82 done, and we will move on to the next set of videos to look at budgeting.